Chapter 3, verses 6 to 15. Kardevriyani samyamya yahase manasasmadan indriyarthan vimudhatma mityacharasya uchyate yasindriyani manasa niyamyarabhate juna कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम् असक्तस्य विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो कर्मणः शरीरयात्रातिशते न प्रसिद्धेन कर्मणः यज्ञात् कर्मणो यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यत्वम् एष भोष्विष्टकामधु देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानः प्रदायैभ्यः यो भुङ्क्ते तेन एव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः शंसः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते द्वैत्वकं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्न सम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञकर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्.
Perform your obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. And even the maintenance of your body would not be possible by inaction. The essential aspect of dharma, he says, is obligatory action. Obligatory actions are those actions that ought to be performed. Actions that ought to be performed are called obligatory actions. Who decides what ought to be performed? Who decides what is obligatory action? Ideally speaking, everyone has to decide. One cannot decide for the other. Everyone has to decide their own obligatory actions. This is nice to hear, but it will not work out. This gives you a belief that okay, you don't have to, you can do it by yourself, because obligatory actions, it has to be decided by one's own self. Therefore, I will decide. I know. It's nice to hear, but actually it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work is because invariably you will decide based on your likes and dislikes only. You will decide something based on your likes and dislikes, and you will call it as obligatory action. Though on paper it is perfectly correct to say, you decide. Everyone has to decide. This kind of explanation satisfies the ego very much. This kind of explanation fulfills the ego, because it believes that it can decide. On what basis it will decide? It will decide based on likes and dislikes only. For a human being doesn't know anything other than likes and dislikes. When I say the human being doesn't know anything other than likes and dislikes, that which is other than likes and dislikes is divine, is Brahman, is God. There are only two things. Either it is likes and dislikes or Brahman, divine. Now there is no in-between third category. And the vast majority of the human beings do not know the divine, do not understand the divine. How do you say that? How does one understand that? For the world is still attractive. Something in the world is still attractive. Something in the world is appears to be more important than anything else. So to that person, say, you decide your obligations. You only have to decide. Now, you can't decide for me, I can't decide for you. Everyone has to decide for themselves. Is a very nice way to pamper the ego only ultimately. For it will not work. Why? For the human being is still caught up with likes and dislikes. The person who is still a victim of likes and dislikes, what does he do? How does that person determine obligatory action? You follow? How does that person decide what he or she has to do? We will decide based on what Shastras say. Greater problem is this answer. Because who decides? Who decides what is the Shastra? And you can't have 25 different Shastras. And say, I take the eyes from here, I take the nose from here, I take the... people do that. They pick little bit from here, little bit here, and make their own, and end up making their own Shastras. Again, that boils down to when you pick up, when you choose, on what basis you pick and choose? Likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes, or conditioning. A person who is conditioned with one, making sick into the other, it will be agitating him. A person who is conditioned to believe that Vedic chanting is the best in the world. Make him stay next to the mosque, where morning, noon and night he has to hear the prayer. He will run away. For it is or make him sit, ask him to live next to Jehovah's Witness. You know what they do, no? In the middle of the night, the whole lot will start praying in the middle of the night. They start at 11 o'clock and they will finish by 4 o'clock. Has anyone heard them praying? Has anyone heard? You have heard, no? You have heard. Howling it looks like. You feel like as though you get frightened after a while. A person who is conditioned by that believes that is prayer. Ask him to come and sit in a chanting class, he will say, he will close it. So, all the choices, all the actions are decided either by likes and dislikes or conditioning. Either it is likes and dislikes or conditioning. You follow? Stealing is wrong. It's a conditioning. Not that the person has understood what stealing is. Stealing is wrong. Now it comes from a very deep-rooted conditioning. If you are in a community where you are convinced that stealing is the right way to live, still that community, I know, one group exists in Rajasthan even now. They live there. There is a group that lives in Rajasthan, believes, their conscience says, if they don't steal, they'll feel guilty. They'll feel guilty if they don't steal. And if the boy from the community wants to marry a girl, first question that man will be asked is, how many successful thefts you have committed? Illa innu edume varalana, you are not. We decide, no, will you give your daughter in marriage? Will you marry your daughter to that man? So, that man's conscience will say, if you are not stealing, robbing, thieving, you are not doing the right thing. You follow? There is a community that exists there used to be that community in so many places, but one place where they are still very much active and alive is that group. And I know one person from that group, I know that very well about that community. About the rest I really don't know whether they exist or not. Valmiki belonged to that community. That's where he was so convinced that stealing is the right thing. I am only doing my obligatory action by stealing. I am not stealing for. He said that, no. He said, I am not stealing for myself. I am only stealing for the sake of the family. Narada said, okay, go and ask whether will they consequence. You are doing an action. Do you realize that you have a consequence? And you are saying that I am doing this only for their sake. Just go and find out, will they also take a portion of the consequence? Don't worry, no one will take. Even if he were to come and ask you, you will also. If your grandfather were to come and talk to you now, Shankar, you yourself is a grandfather now. Imagine grandfather comes and tells you today, what all I have done for you. Do you realize that? Do you recognize that? You will turn back and say, correct. So what? Consequences. Just as you refuse to take part, you refuse to take the consequences of others' action. Same thing. So Valmiki went and asked. His mother. Mother said, as a son, it's your duty to take care of me. Now, how you protect is your problem. I am not concerned. As a father, as a son, you have to take care. As a husband, you have to do this. As this, he came back saying, understanding that he is fully responsible for the consequences of his action. Why I am saying this is obligatory action decided by likes and dislikes, or obligatory actions are always decided by conditioning. Just as Valmiki thought obligatory action, dharma is to steal. Even today the community believes that, the community in Rajasthan, they believe that they have to steal, and they don't feel guilty by stealing. Or maybe they will feel guilty if they are not stealing. Now, on what basis you decide your obligation? You can't decide based on your likes and dislikes. You can't decide based on your conditioning. You can't decide based on what the Shastras are saying, because first of all we don't know what Shastras is. The biggest confusion is to determine what is the Shastra. The biggest difficulty is to understand who is Tasma Shastram Pramanam. Very nice to, it's a wonderful quote to hear, but you go back, nothing will work, because what looks like Shastras in the morning looks like impractical in the evening. So how do you then how do you decide? You don't decide based on conditioning. Conscience is conditioning. It's pseudo. It's not real. If the collective decides something as right, it becomes right. Patriotism. Patriotism is a conditioning. Today, if they redraw the boundaries of the country, patriotism will change. If you were to ask Bal Gangadhar Tilak was also fighting for this country's freedom, no? If you were to now, to which country's freedom he was fighting? Pakistan, Bangladesh. Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir. Boundaries were redrawn. Immediately patriotism shifts. Supposing if someone decides to redraw the boundary today, patriotism will shift. It's a part of conditioning. So I am obligated to my country. Now which country you are? No. Which country you are obligated to? For generations they were living in that Eastern African, that Middle Africa, Eastern Africa. Overnight, the dictator said, know that, no? In Uganda it happened overnight. Few hours was only given to them. Overnight, pack your, what all you can pack and leave, you leave. For next day morning, if you are found, you will be arrested. What they have been thinking as their country, working and paying taxes, did everything overnight. They have to. You follow? No. You ask that person. But last week only you said you are very patriotic to Uganda. What happened? So, patriotism is a part of conditioning. The ethics and morals is a part of conditioning. When it becomes the norm, it is acceptable. Like 25 years back, 30 years back, if there is a divorce in the family, the whole family will feel insulted. The whole family will feel as though they have committed a huge crime. Maybe a lot would have committed suicide also. And today, okay, it's okay. Maybe another 50 years later, they will feel guilty that if they don't divorce. Same thing. It keeps changing. It keeps changing. 25 years back, I'm not talking 250 years back, 25 years back, a fellow will join one company, work in the same company and retire. Today, you tell this, feel what? They feel so guilty, they feel so bad that by not changing. Same thing if you continue, 50 years later, they might feel guilty that they are not, they have not even divorced once in your life. We can't say they are wrong, this is right. The choices made through likes and dislikes, the choices made through conditionings, which everyone believes it as obligatory action. Here he is going to say all this is not obligatory action. What is obligatory action? He is saying. Now first we have to understand what is not an obligatory action. Then only what he says will be meaningful. Very difficult is to understand this. A person with a different religious conditioning will have no problem marrying 5 times, 6 times. A person with this conditioning, with a different religious conditioning, believes that even second marriage is sinful. What is obligatory action? On what basis you determine what is obligatory action? For very difficult is to understand this. Why? A human being is victimized by these two. One is known as likes and dislikes at the level of the mind, and conditioning at the level of the intellect. Value systems are all conditionings. Ethics and morals are all conditionings. The lawmaker of this country once, Manu, is known as Manu Smriti. Today don't talk about him. If you talk about him, you will be in jail. Manu, one of the courts, the code of conduct he has given. One of the codes he gives is, he says, the eldest son can marry the youngest wife of the father. Father is dead. The eldest son can marry the youngest wife of the father. This is according to Manu. Manu says it is perfectly alright to do that. Who's marrying whom? Who's marrying whom? The eldest son can marry the youngest wife of the father. That is perfectly alright. According to that society didn't feel any guilty at all doing that. Today, a person with this conditioning will feel very guilty doing that. Why? For who's marrying whom? Son marrying the mother. Correct? According to the conditioning, son is marrying the mother. Oh, how can you call that as obligatory action? See, code of conduct means obligatory action. You can do that. You will not incur sin by doing that. That's what it means. Now today is exactly the opposite. Maybe 500 years later, something else might come. Very difficult is to determine what is obligatory action. In order to determine what obligatory action is, we should know how to eliminate the two. What? The choices made out of actions, choices made out of likes and dislikes, the actions, the choices made out of conditioning. Remove these two, we will not know. Remove these two, we will not know what to do. And yet he says, perform your obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. Perform that obligatory action, for action is superior to inaction. The distinction is very clear. That's very easy. Obligatory actions are nitya karma, naimittika karma. Nitya karma means regular routine obligations. Naimittika is occasional, special. Everyone must follow these two. And then there is something called Nishiddha karma. Nishiddha karma means actions that are prohibited. Actions that are prohibited. And every smriti gives a list of what is nitya karma, what is naimittika karma, what is nishiddha. What is nishiddha karma? And then he brings in the fourth factor, what he calls as akarma, the non-acting principle in and through the actions. Full of complications we would not have entered into this chapter. Or we assume that it is very okay. Just do your obligatory duties, and you are done with it. That's all. Why complicate it so much? Most of the times there is a difficulty in deciding obligatory actions. Not most of the time. All the times it is very confusing to decide on what basis I say this is an obligatory action. So that I don't do that, if I am not doing that obligatory action, if I am not doing that nitya karma, nitya or whatever be that, niyatam kuru karmatvam, he says, do your obligatory action. Okay, if you are not doing your obligatory action, what kind of actions you will end up doing? All nishiddha karma only. You are not doing nitya karma. If you are not doing your obligatory actions, it's not that you will be sitting like Buddha in meditation. What actions you will be doing by default? You will end up doing nishiddha karma only, prohibitive actions. That's where the Shastra gives a long list of prohibitive actions. And you look at that list, it's easy to give up that. Yeah. It's easy to give up that smriti. It's easy to give up that list. On what basis obligations are decided? How does one decide what is an obligatory action? What kind of action, if you do, you can safely call it as you are doing obligatory action. What I am asking, he is not saying in the verse. You have to infer all this from the verse. He is only saying, do your obligatory duties. Most will say, I am only doing that already. Most will say, I am doing that only already. I am taking care of my family, I am taking care of my children, I have done this well, I feel so contented, I feel that I have done all that ought to be done, I am this, I am that. Therefore, I have already done my obligatory actions only. What is the indication of obligatory actions? How do you know that you have performed your obligatory actions? That is the benchmark. There is a benchmark. There is a touchstone against which you have to measure and understand. Clear? You understand the touchstone, no? The goldsmith has a stone. Any metal you give it to him, he will rub against it. Then only he will know that it is. Yeah. Gold, Takarama, then only he will know. Only if you rub it against that touchstone. Similarly, in life also we need that touchstone. What is that touchstone against which you can understand that you are doing your, whether it is obligatory duties or not? Is there a touchstone at all like that in the first place? Is there a touchstone available at all in the first place like that? If it is available, then what it is? Does not increase more desires. Give something back. ஒரு கிளாஸே எடுத்துட்டாங்க. ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டா அதுக்கு பதிலுக்கு அவ்வளவு பெரிய லெக்சர். கரெக்ட். Is there a touchstone? Is it possible to have a touchstone like that? If you hear the answer, you say, "Uladana." Idhukku dhaan ivlo periya built up you gave unnecessarily before. This we know. This we know already. Verse number 9 is the touchstone. Is there a Is there a touchstone? Yes. How do you determine that? Verse number 9 is the touch. That's why before he enters into that 9, he is preparing the ground. For you have to rub yourself against that stone. What is it? 9 padingo, then we will come to it.
Yajñāsāt karmaṇo yatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartam karma kaunteya mukta saṅgassamācara. Yajñāsāt karmaṇo yatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartam karma kaunteya mukta saṅgassamācara.
This world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna, sacrifice. O Kaunteya, perform action for that sake, free from attachment. From now on, for another 3 chapters, you are stuck with this word yajna. That's the touchstone. What is the touchstone? You don't do any guesswork. He is saying it. Yajna. This world is bound by action. Correct. This world is bound by action. Other than those performed for the sake of yajna. It means non-yajna karma is binding. Yajna karma is liberating. Non-yajna karma is binding. Yajna karma is liberating. And performing this yajna karma is the obligation. And remember, this yajna karma is not a set of action. This yajna karma is the attitude that you bring into any action. Basically understand this. It's very, very important to understand this. Philosophy is an attitude in an action. Science is a skill in action. Carpentry is a skill. Plumbing is a skill. Teaching is a skill. Engineering is skill. Medicine is a skill. One more skill is not Vedanta. One more skill is not philosophy. What is the difference? While all other things talks about the skill, this talks about the attitude. While everywhere talks about the skill, this talks about an attitude. You come in here not to acquire one more skill. In your existing skill, how to bring in the right attitude. You have an existing skill. In that existing skill, how to bring in the right attitude. But right attitude is what I have. I already have that, sir. Where is the difficulty? Oh, maybe others might not be having, or maybe you may not be having, but attitude wise, my attitude is always right only. If the attitude is already right, then what are we studying here? The fact that you have to study this means you lack that. That day you have the conviction to say, I have developed the right attitude. I don't need this anymore, abdinna, you have really become wise. Till that time you have to keep. Till that time you have to keep studying, listening, hearing. What? Obligatory action means yajna karma. And I said, yajna karma means not a set of, it's not a new set of action. It's not a new set of action. It is the attitude that you bring into all actions. Correct. It's the attitude that you bring into all actions. That turns into an obligatory. Some attitude, that common attitude which will be the common factor in and through all your actions. That's why he is differentiating. One set of action is non-obligatory actions. From now on he is not going to use the word obligatory, non-obligatory. He is using the word yajna and non-yajna. Either you are doing yajna or non-yajna. Carefully remember, when we go to chapter 4, in chapter 4, verse number 31, he will use the word ayajna. No, the performers of sacrifice, the performers of ayajna. Yajna means doers of sacrifice. Ayajna means those who are not doing sacrifice. So, for all practical purposes, it's only two. What is the two? Sacrificial, non-sacrificial. Yajna and ayajna. What is yajna? Sacrifice. What do you sacrifice? Na mama. The sense of doership. That's why in yajna, every time you offer the ahuti, you say na mama. Idam na mama. You don't have to literally go and do it in fire and all. In whatsoever you are doing, you can bring in that attitude. Yajna karma is the obligatory action. Why he calls this as an obligatory action? Obligatory action means that which ought to be done. And what is the primary obligation? There is no secondary obligation. What is the only obligation of a human being? The only obligation of a human being is to eliminate the unnecessary ego that is, it's like an appendix. Unnecessarily it is sitting there only causing pain and agony. What is the obligation? Cut that. Remove that. For example, Nalla surgeon I am searching for. So I can find a very good surgeon. I can go to him and get it cut. No one can cut it from outside, because you are the one who's feeding it, you are the one who's keeping it alive, you are the one who's promoting it. So no one can do anything from outside. If something can be done from outside, with all their love and affection, all these great masters would have transformed us already. If something can be done from outside, they would have simply entered us and throw all the things out and you get. If it is possible from outside, since it is not possible from outside, you have to do it by yourself. How do you do it by yourself? Yajna karma. I'll explain the ritual. wonderful is this? Wonderful is this concept of yajna, and the very ritual itself is wonderful. Then I will connect it to how this is what is known as obligatory action. How this becomes the touchstone. Are you able to follow the sequence? First to the ritual. Elaborate preparation goes into the ritual. Today elaborate preparation illa. Ready-made? There is a ready-made kund, there is a ready-made thing. Tiles and ceiling are more important than tiles and ceiling is more important than idam na? No. I am not saying burn your house up with that smoke. Correct sir na ceiling ada false ceiling la pottena, please don't. False ceiling pottadala do flowers only. Don't even put bussunu poyidum. Elaborate preparation goes into the very preparation of it. Right from how does the ritual start? Preparation with agitation, sir. Very clear. How does it start? No, with agitations only. How does it start? Purify. First that place is purified. And then bring in the bricks, this, that, and lot of things. By the time the actual ritual starts, by the time they started preparing, it will take them 2 hours. That much of initial preparation is necessary. For you can't straight away light the fire and put the ahuti and say idam na mama, you will come out purified. Lot of preparation is required. What is the preparation? Cleaning the kund, and then the ahuti, and then the person takes the ahuti, offers it into the fire by saying idam na mama. Idam means this. What is this they have in hand? What is this? The offering. What is this they have in hand? Grains, ghee, hard work, the fruit of your labor. The fruit of your labor. You have to take the fruit of your labor and put it in the fire and say na mama, and see that getting burnt in front of your eyes. When you see that getting burnt in front of your eyes, something will burn. Something will burn here. Fire la poradhukku badala you could have given it to someone else, no sir? That person asked me, why unnecessarily pour milk on the deities when children are starving? Why can't you give the milk to them? Exactly the same thing. Handful of grains, which is a product of their hard labor. Today we don't understand that because we think grains are growing in factories. No, we don't know the children don't understand the hard labor involved in the grains. how difficult it would have been to get a piece of cultivable land first in those days. Even today it is very difficult to get a piece of land that can be cultivable, and then sow the seed, wait for the rains to come, and the rains come sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes don't come at all. Something happens and it is growing, and then you have to protect it from birds, pests, rats. You have to protect it from all these. Day and night you have to sit there protecting that, and by the time it's ready for harvest, another problem, and they harvest it. Storing it is for shelf life is very less. Storing it is, having gone through this entire painful process to take that handful and offer it into the fire and say, idam na mama. Don't try with grains and ghee today. It will not work. It will not work. For you go to the store, there are thousands of varieties of grains, thousands of varieties of ghee. There are some ghee which is specially meant for offering only. Nothing, sir. Dal mix fire, you know, for eating ghee is more better than, you know that, no? So today, all this ghee and grains and all that will not, idam na mama will not work. Keep a bundle of currency notes. Yeah, if you can afford 10 rupee bundle, slightly better, na? 50 rupees. If you really want to know what yajna is, 2000 rupee currency. Sit in front of the fire and say idam na mama, and put it in that fire and see, and what you will see, burning, turning into ashes, and take that ash and say Trayambakam Vedamaye Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvaruviniva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiya Mamrita. You will kill the fellow who is you will kill the fellow who is doing all this. Why? For it is seen as waste. It should be useful, sir. It should be okay, I don't need it, but at least I can give it to. If you don't need it, if it is useless to you, what makes you to believe that it will be useful to others? You follow? Are you able to follow? If something is useless to you, what makes you to believe that it is going to be useful to somebody else? As far as you are concerned, still it is not useless. Through the other, you are still finding the use. It means attachment is continuing in a different form. In fact, this form of attachment is more dangerous because there is a moral coloring to it. There is a moral flavor to it. There is an ethical flavor to it. Why? You are doing sacrifice. You are doing sacrifice. Kathopanishad starts like this. Nachiketas sees his father doing sacrifices. Kathopanishad starts with this. Nachiketas, the young boy, sees his father doing sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? That which has become useless. Cows that have stopped yielding milk. He wants to buy new cows. Now what to do with that? Give it away as dhanam to. You have to sit with this, you have to sit with that which is useless, and you suffer the burden. Why you? As long as it is useful, you will enjoy that. The moment it becomes a burden, you will offload it on someone else. What is the burden? What is the burden? What is the burden? That mindness is the burden. The burden in action is the mindness is the burden. Who's carrying that mindness? Everyone individually carries it. Unconnected to anyone else, everyone individually carries that mindness. Ramatirtha talks about this old man in the forest. He gives this example of the old man in the forest. 90-year-old man. No one to assist him, no one to take care of him. He still has to earn his bread and butter at that age. And the only way is what? He goes to the forest, collects some dry wood, come to the village, sells it. That's how he earns his living. Or he can't even cut. He has become so old. So he goes to the forest, collects the dry wood. Somewhere one twig will be falling here, somewhere another twig will be falling here. He collects all that. While he was collecting like this, one day he got so tired, he got so frustrated. He threw the whole burden down and said, "Let Yama come and take me." Yama come and take me, now what does it mean? Better to die than to live a life like this. Yama came. Immediately Yama came. Looking at Yama, that one, he got scared, he got frightened. He said, "Who are you?" Suddenly in the middle of the forest, "Who are you?" He said, "You only called me, that's why I am Yama. You called me, I have come to take you." Man said, please don't take me. You only said, you only called me, no. I want someone to help me to put the burden back on my head. Please help me to put the burden back on my head. Actions that turns into a burden. When actions turn into a burden, the natural tendency, the natural attitude will be to. When action turns into a burden, the natural tendency, the natural attitude will be for what? Will be of what? To avoid. Previous verse. Remember the previous verse. For action is superior to inaction. Are you able to understand? For action is superior to inaction. The moment action becomes a burden, the moment anything becomes a burden, instead of removing the burden, what is stopped? The action is stopped. So in the previous verse he said it very clearly. Perform action. For action is superior to inaction. Are you able to understand what is inaction? It's not no action. Action at some point of time, what you have taken up turns into a burden. Always in life it happens. When you take up something, when you start doing anything, it's very nice to do for, very nice to do, very interested in to do, so joyful to do for some time. After a while, it becomes a burden. If you want to know what a burden, what talking is a burden, now come with me. You will know how difficult it is to accept. But the first few is so. You want to talk, no one is willing to listen. Here, at least a few are willing to listen. What a joy it gives. Only for the first. Afterwards, it starts turning into a burden. The moment it starts turning into a burden, what are the indications? First thing, actions are turning into a burden. First thing, the first indication is what? The first indication. What is the first indication? The first indication, physical pain. You will start complaining of physical pain. Even to lift one glass of water becomes too burdensome for that man. It starts where it starts with the physical pain. You will not say as physical pain, you will say as I want to rest for a while. You follow? How it starts? It all starts with the moment you are convinced of your pain, that is enough justification to stop. Are you able to follow? How it all starts? Frustration, agitation comes much. That comes much later. It will not start with that. We have become so big a philosopher that straight away we can understand frustration and agitation. It doesn't start like that. How does it start? It all starts with the physical pain. Example, that day the child wakes up and says, I have a stomach ache, I can't go to school. Now what do you understand? You follow? Child will not say I am agitated, frustrated. Where it all starts? It all starts with the first indication is what? Backache. இந்த மாதிரி சேர் போட்டு விட்டுருங்கோ இல்லையா. அப்புறம் அடுத்த வாரம் மேபி another 3 months later I will say ஒரு வீல் சேர் வச்சிருங்கோ. Maybe 3 months, another 1 year later அப்படி படுத்துட்டே I will give like first indication that it has become not really example for first indication. It all starts with the physical thing. That's where we cut short on the preparation. Remember, I said yajna starts with an elaborate preparation. When the preparation, when it is becoming too painful, what do? Cut short. Why? ஒரு வாட்டியும் bricks வாங்கி to store it and do all that is so painful, sir. அதுக்குதான் giri trading போனா they will give ready-made kund itself is ready-made kund is available, ready-made priest is available, everything is available in 1 minute. Idamna mama is not known at all. Why do you have to cut short? For the preparation is becoming a burden, a painful. So wherever you start experiencing pain, where you experience pain at the first level, at the level of the body, that's where they say ignore the physical pain. that is the tapas at the physical level, continue the action. You follow? Ignore that and continue, for it's an obligatory action. Like a jigsaw puzzle, what all is there? I am trying to fit everything. You follow? Elaborate preparation, and that elaborate preparation is so painful. Cut short. For it's only attitude, no sir. That's where you can do that. You can straight away go to the attitude and experience it. But you will not have the courage to do that. Straight away you can go to the attitude and experiment with it. How you can straight away go to the attitude and experiment with it? A bundle of currency notes. Dollar podungo, or euros, pounds. Zimbabwe currency podadinga. That is no currency. There is no currency at all. $1 billion they printed. With that $1 billion, you can't even buy one milk packet here. For that is the work. Don't very difficult is to go to the attitude straight away. You have to plow through the action. When you plow through the action, first thing, ask yourself, that day you experience it as a burden, what has entered? What has entered? That ahamkara and mamakara has entered. As long as it doesn't enter, it's very free. Burden is nothing but the ahamkara and mamakara enter. How do you know that? We all want to have children because we know they will grow up very soon. If only you know that they are not going to grow up and they are going to be exactly like first year earlier, they will be stuck permanently. Now no one. For how long you can keep changing diapers? You are willing to do all that because it's quickly going to it's quickly going to get over. If it doesn't get over, it starts becoming a burden. You follow? It starts becoming a burden. What is the burden? What is the burden? That ahamkara and mamakara is the burden. In yajna karma, what do? You don't sacrifice the karma, you sacrifice the ahankara and mamakara. Sacrificing the karma is very easy. That is burden. When it becomes a burden, what will be sacrificed? The very karma itself will be sacrificed. First level, physical pain. Second level, others are not cooperating, sir. What will I do? No one is cooperating. Thaniya eppadi panna mudiyum? Vedanta only has said no, it's collective, everyone has to contribute and participate. In all the wrong areas you will quote Vedanta. You will quote the Yajna. You follow? First thing is, it expresses as physical. Second thing is the non-cooperation of the environment, non-cooperation of others. Okay, you are fit. You are fit. Others are cooperating. Third burden. You will get bored. Idhe panina irukuma. Why not do something else? Why not do something else? Morning, noon and evening to say different prayers is morning Vishnu Sahasranama, afternoon Lalita Sahasranama, night maybe 2 from Quran, 1 from Bible. All this is very nice. But to say the same prayer, there is no pain, others are also cooperating. The third thing, what you will get bored. You will get bored na. Life needs variety, no? The beauty of life is the variety. You follow? You will get bored. Okay. Others are cooperate. No pain, no physical pain. Others are cooperating. You are not bored. The fourth one comes. What is the fourth one? The fourth one what will be there? The fourth one comes. What is the fourth one? The result orientation. How quickly will I get the fruit? How quickly will I get? I am fit enough doing it. Others are also cooperating. I am also enthused to do. I am also inspired to do. Fourth one. What? Result. Quickly. The result must come quickly. Why the results must come quickly? For once the result is achieved, action can be stopped. Again you go back to previous verse. For action is superior to inaction. For everything you have to connect to that verse. You have to connect to that statement. At least I keep doing that mentally. For action is superior to inaction. For action is superior to inaction. For action is superior to inaction. What are all the various ways? The result orientation. Wanting to enjoy the fruit. Okay. The fruit comes. Satisfaction comes. Joy comes. Along with the fruit, along with the joy, along with the satisfaction, something else also comes. What? More. Along with the fruit, along with the satisfaction, along with the happiness, one more extra thing also comes. What? More. I want? Idhilende you will know how to develop. Because from here, we are all very good philosophers. We will know how to develop from this point. Krodha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya. The modifications. Anger, Krodha, Bhaya, fear. Another modification is arrogance, Mada. Another modification, Matsarya. Lobha, greed. Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya. All this automatically, as a human being today is a victim of right from the physical. How do you know life? It is from the physical. Na? The arrival and the departure time of the maid servant determines all other activities in the house, mental peace. Correct? That's all physical pain is all about. Everything is centered around what? As though people don't have hands and legs. You follow? Starts with that. So first thing he says is, idam na mama. Vivekananda said, go play football. Air conditioned room lo ukkandu don't keep doing all this. Go play football. Na? First thing, what? Go through the that much of endurance, that much of willingness to labor. Today we feel that as inferior, no? Everyone wants to do mental work. Everyone wants to mental work. It's not that humans should not do. At the very first step itself there is a mistake. As a result of which, somewhere down the line, we miss the yajna. Therefore, first thing is what? The initial preparation that goes into that, which is more physical by nature. In yajna, the initial preparation is physical by nature. There's nothing philosophical in it. You follow? I always used to wonder why such a elaborate preparation, which is nothing but a physical labor. That preparation is needed because the senses and the body is brought under control first. The senses and the body is brought under control. Down the line, one after the other. You follow? Having gone through this entire preparation, having matured enough to that height, that person is so inspired to say, what? Take the fruit of one's own labor and say, na mama, and give it. Putting it in fire means it is symbolic. Fire is the purifier. Fire is the instant purifier. Water will take few months to change the form. Water will take few months, few weeks at least. You know that, no? Your body put in water will take the body put in fire, the form changes instantly. Fire is that instant purified. Yajna karma, fire is used because it is instant, purifies instantly. Now, to get to that height of instant purification, lot of preparation is needed. Lot of preparation is needed. What is that preparation? The physical. There is an aspect of physical. There is an aspect of physical labor in it. You take it up willingly, and you say idam na mama, and offer it in the fire. It's symbolic. Symbolic of what? Symbolic of what? You have offloaded your burden. What is that burden? That ahamkara and mamakara. That ahamkara and any action where that ahamkara and mamakara is burnt away, that becomes purifying, that becomes the yajna karma. That's the prasad that's the prasad. After the yajna ritual is done, even today they do that, no? After the yajna ritual is done, they'll take little bit of that ashes and they give it as prasad. Little bit they put. He used to do that. My brother will say, "Innathu sudukarla ukkandirukra mari, why are you applying it all over the?" I will say, no, a little bit. I will say, nariya kudungo, it's okay. No? That's why when I do all this, I do all by myself and no one is allowed to see all that. Take it, put it all over the. For every time you have to say, Trayambakam Yajamahe, and you have to say that and apply. You don't straight away go in front of the mirror and adjust and apply. You have to say what? Urvarugamiva bandhanat. Ahamkara and mamakara is gone. But still there is that bandha. Get rid of that also. Get rid of that also. Get rid of that also. This yajna karma purifies you, liberates you, Arjuna. The world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna. All other actions binding. Running away from obligatory action is also a kind of action. Doing it is one kind of action. Running away is also a kind of action. That is inaction. By that action you are bound. By running away you are bound. You are liberated by doing. By running away you are bound. Exactly the opposite is our belief. By doing we are bound. By running away we are liberated. Yajna karma, exactly the opposite. This world is bound by action other than those performed for the sake of yajna, sacrifice. O Kaunteya, perform action for that sake. For that sake means for the sake of yajna. Bring that yajna free from attachment. Free from attachment. Arjuna wants to run away. Arjuna wants to escape. And he is believing by escaping he is going to be free. Krishna is saying, you want freedom? Freedom is by doing. Bondage is by running away. Arjuna, you choose between the. You want freedom, na? You do. You want to be in bondage, na? Run away. Okay, sir. Konja running away. Konja running away. Konja doing, na? What will happen? Konja doing and konja running, na? What will happen? Know that you are a confused person. You will end up in. It's a state of confusion. How can you do both? You follow? Most of the human beings are like this. Little bit this and little bit that. What category you will belong to? Know that you belong to the category of confused. What to do? Perform action for the sake. For yajna is not an action. Yajna is the attitude that you bring into the action. That's why I said it in a very general way. Philosophy is not another skill. Vedanta is not another skill. I come to Vedanta class so that I acquire one more skill so that I can be better. It's not another skill. Philosophy is the attitude that you bring into the action. What attitude? Step number 1. Action is the insignia of life. You can't get away from action. Step number 2. That action has become a burden. Since action has become a burden, solution is run away. Krishna said, offload the burden and continue the action. அவ்வளவுதான். ஒன்றும் பெரிய philosophy. Number 1. Action is the insignia of life. You have to do action. Now that action has become a burden. When action turns into a burden, the immediate tendency is stop the action. He is saying by stopping the action, nothing will be achieved. Find out what is it that is burdening. Remove the burden and continue to act. Remove that burden of ahamkara and mamakara and continue to kill Arjuna. That's all he said. Continue to kill. Don't stop. For what is his action? His action is one of fighting. Fighting not how children fight. Fighting real fight, slaughtering. Use the word, mentally I always use the word slaughtering. Because that's what it is. That's what he is doing. And whole lifetime training is to slaughter, kill. That has become a burden. What to do? Drop it and pick up something else. No. Remove the burden and continue the action. That removing the burden is the technique of yajna. Idam na mama. Don't stop the action. For till the last breath of your life you have to be in action. Ramatirtha quotes that Englishman. Die with your boots on. Die with your boots on. Die with your boots on means be in action till the day. Till the last breath be in action. Moose vaangurudhu sir. Too burdensome, too troublesome. Hope is when I will be all my obligations are fulfilled. I am a free person. Now Krishna says you are in maximum bondage then only. For you have run away from action. That's why the continuation of this thought is what led to the ancestral ceremonies. That person is dead and gone, but your obligations are not yet over. Are you able to follow? Continuation of the same idea. It's not an emotional attachment to that person. For that person is dead and gone, form is gone, another Janma, you have no connection, and thank God that person also has forgotten you. But still there is a ceremony. Why? Wonderful is this ritual. For the attitude behind it. What is the attitude? Your obligations are not over. Why? How do you know that your obligations are not yet over? You are still alive. You are still alive. As long as you are alive, you have to put it very simply. It becomes, yajna karma becomes very simple. Action is the insignia of life. Wow, in the law way vana sir. Wow. So painful is this, so burdensome is this law, so painful is this law. How long one can, இன்னைக்கு தான் சிவனேன்னு உட்கார்ந்து we can enjoy. That point doesn't arise. First thing, action is the insignia of life. Now action has turned into a burden. The general attitude, the general tendency is stop the action. Krishna comes in and says, remove the burden and continue the action. Oh, up there possibility irukudha? Yes. What is the burden? Ahankara and mamakara is the burden. Remove that. Okay. How to do that? Yajna karma. Do yajna karma. The ahankara, mamakara gets removed. You are free. If you are not doing that, since the whole world is not doing that, he makes a sweeping statement. He makes a general statement by saying, this world is bound. This world is bound. Everyone is bound. You follow? Understand it like this. It becomes easy to follow what he is going to say. Perform action for that sake. For that sake means for the sake of yajna. Okay? Temperature check 22, 24 வச்சப்போ 16 17 இருக்குது. வச்சுப்போ அப்படியே கையெல்லாம் வச்சுப்போ. நான் சொல்றேன், நான் உன்னை கேட்டு சொல்லிடுறேன்.